Well, we certainly knew the weather was going to change, and it finally has. Winter has arrived. It is bitterly cold, windy. We're going to have to move our work indoors because I'm a wimp. A lot of the tools that I use have a fair amount of significance, and this chainsaw is no different. This saw belonged to my friend Chuck, and this past spring it suffered what I suspect to be a catastrophic engine failure. Looks like one of the cooling fins on the flywheel just fell out while I was turning it around looking for all the fasteners. It was running perfectly, and all of a sudden it went ka-chunk, and that was it. It would not spin over. Not too late to show you. It will not pull. There definitely is a problem. Pull that flywheel apart first for the recoil area, just to see if there's anything going on there. I suspect it's more catastrophic than that, but I'd be glad to be wrong. Chuck was a great friend. He was a very selfless person. He really got a lot out of helping the people around him. As we can see, we have a missing fin right there, and a couple missing fins right up here. So that tells me, and those are fairly fresh looking, like they don't look like they've been that way for decades. So I'm guessing that happened this spring when this went kerchunk. That's going to throw off the balance a little bit, so I'm suspecting we'll want to use a flywheel off that other engine, which is not a big deal. We lost Chuck very suddenly as a result of a workplace accident, and nobody was prepared for that. But months later, when his wife decided to bestow upon me Chuck's chainsaw, I accepted it with an idea. I was going to use this chainsaw every time I went to help people. And since 2019, that's exactly what I've done with this saw. It has been to countless homes, has helped countless people, some of them multiple times. And actually, I was at a home helping somebody when it broke down on me. Okay. Now, I have had these apart before. I don't care for the plastic choke rod, but that's a matter of preference is all that is. This carburetor should come loose now. Gotta get it to pull out of these little access ports to make adjustments. These shafts, I know they gotta come out of there like that. And now you gotta do a contortionist dance to get it unhooked from the linkage. We're definitely going to clean that up. Now, a McCulloch 610 is not a particularly valuable chainsaw. They've made a lot of them. There's not a whole lot of demand for them, so they can be bought pretty cheap. There's really nothing too special about them, and when something catastrophic happens, they're really not worth fixing. Except for this one, for me. Any other one of my chainsaws I probably wouldn't bother with, but this one is kind of special, and I've got the parts to fix it, so Now that cold weather's here and I got a nice fire in a wood stove, we're going to try and fix it. Well, can you see that? I'm still seeing no damage whatsoever. That is as nice and clean as it ever could be. Well, I'm getting kind of confused here. I had expected to find some sort of carnage by now. And everything I'm seeing looks just fine, except for the fact that the engine will not spin over. So I guess it could be bearings on that lower end locked up. Are you serious? Are you serious? I found our problem. It's not nearly as catastrophic as what I had been imagining. Look right in between the flywheel and the crankcase there. There is a screw. You can see it from this side too. So if we pop that flywheel loose and get that screw out of there, we'll be able to spin the engine again. I guess that's okay. I mean, everything here needed a pretty good cleaning anyway. But certainly not what I was expecting to find. From the way it was running perfect to the way that it just went click-chunked. Like, that's it. I'm not doing anymore. And I very easily could have just given up on the thing too, over that little screw. So now kind of the kicker is I don't remember finding any missing screws necessarily. And there it is. Right there. You little booger. Caused a lot of grief. I might just have to smash you very angrily before I throw you in the recycling. Alright, well, it would seem we don't really need to pull that apart any further. Not that there's a whole lot further we can go with it, but there is. But let's get that flywheel off that punch machine and just do a visual comparison between the two. So for a comparison between the two, put the notch up at the top. I mean, the main difference I'm seeing is these have got the Phillips ability to be easily removed. They're looking the same shape and height, and yep, the notch at the top goes up to the magnet for the magneto. I'm going to say they are the same. I don't know if I might just throw this on the part saw, just in case the guy ever needed these starter dogs. But now I have a whole bunch of cleaning to do of all of these parts before I start putting it back together. And I'm not going to bore you with all that. So I'll bring you back when stuff is clean and ready to start reassembly. I found where the culprit came from. Right there. Supposed to be two screws here that hold that fuel tank to the inside of the recoil cover. That one was missing. The screw that had us jammed up is on the right. The screw that I just robbed from the parts saw to hold the fuel tank in place is on the left. They look suspiciously identical. Well, I haven't got everything cleaned up yet, but I got to thinking I should put this oil reservoir back onto the engine just so that that gasket can set up for us. So that can start to cure while we finish cleaning everything else. If I can get the bolts started. Now, back to our cleaning. Well, things are fairly clean at this point. Before we start putting it back together, point out the only real damage is along here. It's kind of narfed up from that screw. Right there is where that screw was wedged. But it was enough to stop it. So, got our new used flywheel. think I got it now. Yep. Apparently I had to loosen this back up before this was in place. And now I can tighten this down. I'm going to just finish buttoning this up first. May not need it, but now's a good time to lube that bead coil. Don't worry, this impact wrench is old and extremely weak. Okay, that's in. 3 holes over here in this black plastic or rubbery grommet. You got to be careful with the tightness of this screw. The tighter you get it, the stiffer it is to run your choke. When you got a plastic choke lever, pushing it back in can be a problem. So it's just kind of a do it by feel sort of a thing. It doesn't feel bad right now, but I'll tighten it a little bit more. Yeah, that's doable. I mean, it's stiff, but yep. So everything in there is working. Oil, choke, throttle. We didn't change any of our settings on the carburetor. I suppose we could do the vinyl touch here, put the bar and chain back on. Well, we'll get some mixed gas, see what happens. Well, we got some gas in it. I'm going to prime it a little bit just to reduce how much pulling has to happen for it to pull fuel up from the tank. I dare say our chuck saw is alive and well. And don't have anybody really on the list right now that needs help. But I do want to take it with me next time I'm doing any chainsaw work at the farm. I just would like to run it for a tank or two of fuel just to confirm everything's good, and that way I know it's ready to go the next time somebody needs help. So, there you have it. There is our chuck saw. About as clean as I've ever seen it. So, very cool. That's been on my list for a long time now. And I didn't expect it to be quite this easy, but I'll take it. So, thanks for watching.